Now for the exercise physiology, this would be our action plan. One something which is important from the physiology point of view, right? Then this would be one of the very important topic in case of USM. And then something practical. That is in case if you feel like yes, you also should do the exercise, then what are the things which will take you miles ahead as compared to anyone who is regularly going to gym or is practicing? But because you are a doctor, you know heart, lung much better. So that's why you'll be having a very cutting advantage if you follow these principles. Very basic, very easy, but you'll see the difference that within no time, you'll be miles ahead as compared to anyone who is doing exercise regularly. So we'll be covering all these 3 points. And let's start. It's time, so let's start. So whenever it comes to exercise, we talk about muscles, right? So basically, it is the muscles which we are talking about. So now the muscle is a big thing. Right? It is actually divided into several sections. Right? Muscle is not to one thing, it is made up of several units, and they are called as the myofibers or the muscle fibers. Correct? Myofibers. Now, once again, these myofibers, they will be having a specific bundles. So they are called as the myofibrils. Right? They are called as the myofibrils. And in these myofibrils, there are myofilaments or the muscle filaments. And these are the muscle filaments which you know very well in the form of actin and myosin. So this is a basic concept which will be required, because our purpose is that these are the muscles which will be doing actually the exercise. Right? So what exercise is will be going into now that detail. Now before that, let's talk something about muscle fibers. This will change the entire concept. 2 types of muscle fibers. Right? One, what is called as the type 1, and second, what is called as the type 2. Type 1, type 2. This type 1, these are slow. So they are called as the slow twitch, and these are the fast twitch. Which one is better? Both are better. Both are good. Everyone will be having both the slow twitch muscles and the fast twitch muscles. But these slow twitch muscles, you can consider that they are for endurance. They are for endurance. We'll be just in a minute, we'll be talking in detail about the power, strength, and the endurance. So it means when you define any of the exercise, or when you design the exercise for yourself, you need to include all the 3 things. You need to include power, strength, and at the same time endurance. So we'll talk about it. But endurance at this point of time, just consider that it is for marathon. We are introducing the marathon. When it comes to fast twitch means it is for the speed. Right? It is for the speed. So that means it is like 100 or 200 meter dash, right? 100 or 200 meters race, right? Where you give full your heart and soul in 10-15 seconds, the whole thing is over. Right? So that's what it is. But same thing is true. That is when you are running marathon and at the finish line, yes, you are going for your personal best record, right? So you are sprinting. So it happens. So everyone will be having both the types of muscle fiber. Now, when we say endurance means it will be twitching for a longer duration, right? These are slow muscle fibers. At the same time, they are small. They are small, but they will be having more number of mitochondria. Now, you know that mitochondria is like our powerhouse, right? It is. So if we consider the whole cell as our house, so then mitochondria is like a power supply. Endoplasmic reticulum is like a kitchen, right? So this is the power supply. This will be giving constant power. So they are having more number of mitochondria. more number of mitochondria. So mitochondria, it has got the oxidative enzyme, right? So this is like it will be having more oxidative enzymes. So this is the reason that it will be requiring oxygen. We'll be seeing in more detail, right? Similarly, it will be having more number of muscle. Myo is muscle, right? And this is the globin, myoglobin. So this is a muscle attached protein. This is where the oxygen is binding, right? So this is basically oxygen binding protein. See, whole thing is forming in its place. Because mitochondria requiring oxidative enzyme requires more oxygen. So that's why it has got the myoglobin, which will be carrying more oxygen, right? So thus whole process keeps on working. But then who will be getting the more oxygen? Well, that is the blood supply, and that is the reason that it has got increased blood supply, right? How to do that? How will it be possible? Because it has got more capillaries, right? More capillaries. So thus, if it has got more capillaries, it has got more blood. So that's the reason this thing would appear red. So these are the red fibers, right? Absolutely fine. Say, for example, the muscles of your back, soleus, right? Muscles of your calf. So these are like very powerful muscles, and they keep on working for hours together. Against that, when we talk about the fast twitch muscles, everything, right? They are the long, they are pretty long, but they will be having everything. Less mitochondria. They work on a very different principle. Right? They work on a very different principle. So they have got less oxidative enzyme, they have got less myoglobin, and important is that they have got less blood supply, and that's why these muscles, they will be appearing as white. So when we say white fibers, that means these are the fast twitch fibers. They are called as the type 2 fast. And when it comes to type 1, so that means it is slow and they are red. Makes complete sense. So if you look at the example, then the muscles of the eye, right, our muscles near eye fast twitch, they are slow twitch, right? The extraocular muscles, this one, if this is the eyeball, right? Eyeball has got 6 major muscles. This is superior rectus. Rectus means straight. Inferior rectus, medial rectus, lateral rectus, and then there are 2 oblique muscles, inferior oblique and superior oblique, right? Inferior oblique and the superior oblique. Inferior oblique and superior oblique. All these are called as the extraocular muscles. Extraocular muscles. These are the muscles which will be responsible for the movement of the eyeball. So these are like slow. The muscle which we are using for blinking, right? It is a fast twitch fiber, right? These extraocular muscles, these are the fast twitch fibers. But that's why they'll be tiring very easy, right? They'll be tired. They'll not be going on and on and on for longer duration. So over here, we can say that these are for aerobic, that means in presence of oxygen, right? Oxygen is needed. And over here, these are anaerobic. These are anaerobic. Right? So over here, the enzymes will be like glycolytic enzyme. We'll just talk about it. Right? Glycolytic enzyme. So glycolytic enzyme, they work like a bomb, right? They work for some time, and then that's it. They stop. So these are the 2 major types of muscles on which we will work. Our muscles near is fast twitch. Yeah, they are fast twitch. The number of mitochondria decided by maternal side. Well, number of mitochondria, it is like in fast twitch and slow twitch, it is the comparison. But yes, if you really go, there is a genetic factor. If you go into more details, yes, there is a genetic factor. Right? There is a genetic factor. And that genetic factor is that in some persons, the fast twitch fibers are more, in some slow twitch fibers are more. But when we talk about these fibers, that is, if you are planning to go to an Olympic level, so yes, it would matter. But if you say that, can I run marathon? My answer would be not only yes, but 100%. Can I complete the marathon within the stipulated cutoff time? 100%. 100%, no doubt about it, right? Why? Because everyone has got fast twitch and slow twitch, both the type of fibers. It is a matter of how you really condition it. Once you condition it properly, right? So yes, it is possible. Now that's the reason that today I'll be telling you about that why you guys are. Can someone complete first marathon? Nirman, I'm not getting your question. Can someone complete first marathon? Because whenever you run your marathon first time, it's your first marathon, right? In fact, I'll tell you my first marathon. First marathon was like pathetic. I mean, at 5 o'clock it was to start. At 4:30, I was at airport. I was over there to drop my cousin, and then I was wearing those leather shoes, and then I was wearing that shirt, not the t-shirt, shirt, and then it was, and in the trouser it was jeans, not shorts, right? Straight away I reached over there because it was registered, right? I really couldn't get time, and then I was running. I finished the race, but then my big toe, right, both the sides, they were gone, right? The entire nail came out. They were bleeding. How I finished the race, right? That was like a story. But yes, now today we ran 30 kilometers, right? That was at a very comfortable pace. That is just after about say 2 hours. No one would even know that I ran 30 kilometers. Next week we are planning for 38. And after that, on that Sunday, right, it is a full marathon. So can anyone run? Yes, 100%. 100%. How much time is needed? 100 days. 3 months. 3 months of systematic training. Yes, you can. You can. And it is said that when you do the exercise, by the end of today's session, you will be knowing a very proper guideline about what exactly should you really do, right? Okay. So let's start with that physiology where it is usually it is compared that male and female, right? Well, whether he is a male or she is a female, for both of them, physiology remains the same. The force, right? The force which is created, it is 3 to 4 kilograms, right? This is a force per square centimeter of muscle. So if there is a muscle, so that muscle, every centimeter square of muscle, when it contracts, right, it generates a power of force of 3 to 4 kilograms. This is same for male as well as female. But the difference is that in case of male, there is a sex hormone, testosterone, right? And in case of female, there is estrogen. So what difference does it make? Well, when we'll be discussing these things in more detail, right, we'll go in that depth. But testosterone, that increases protein synthesis, right? It increases protein synthesis, and that is something which is needed, right? This is the reason that if you really want to become a very good athlete, your testosterone level, that should be very fine, right? And there are various ways how it can really be controlled. Now, we'll be taking a specific extra session on that. But when we say testosterone, you'll be surprised that in current generation, the testosterone levels, they are dropping very rapidly. One of the biggest reasons is stress, right? Now, at this point, if I say that you should really do the meditation, people would laugh that at the age of 18 or 20, who does the meditation, right? It is so vital. It is so vital because that really stimulates your parasympathetic system, and it is a parasympathetic system because see, if when it is a matter of survival, right? If the lion is behind you, so then even if there is one of the most beautiful girl in front of you, you won't even feel like looking at her, right? Because it is your survival instinct. It's at that point when there is sympathetic stimulation. Sympathetic stimulation will cut off the sexual desire. So that's why testosterone levels, they will drop. Now, whenever there is any sort of stress, whether it is a stress of career, stress of money, anything, right? It drastically reduces the testosterone level. So that's the reason in one simple words, right, when we'll be discussing, we'll talk about in more detail, but it is the stress, it is the sympathetic stimulation, right? It kills. Apart from alcohol, smoking, all those things, so they are just killer. They are killers, right? They destroy. When it comes to estrogen is known to synthesize more fat, right? Because female has been given that responsibility for bearing the child, right? So that's why it is vital. This is the difference between that. Why, as the puberty establishes, there is a difference in the structure between male and female. Okay, so can female also run marathon? Definitely, because see, you will find that because of testosterone, yes, male would say, yes, we have got more power, this, that, everything. Yeah, but there is a major difference between the weight, right? Weight of the female, they are bones, female bones, they are light. Right? So there are many wonderful female runners, right? Wonderful female runners. So they can also do this difficult race. Right? Marathon, it is called as it is not only the game of muscles, but it is a game of mind. Because whatever you eat, whatever the amount of food you eat, the amount of glycogen which is stored into the body, it can supply only up to 2000 calories. After that, once it is depleted, gone. Now whatever you eat, it won't be synthesized that fast so that it can really pump so much of energy. And it is like, that is what is called as the hitting the wall, right? Hitting the wall. And if you are trained quite properly, so then that number would be somewhere around 32 kilometers. And that's the reason Kipchoge, right, he's one of the finest runner of Kenya. In his book, he said that when you finish 32 kilometers, it is just the halfway mark. Right now, normally you would say 42 kilometers divide by 2, so it is 21 kilometers. That is the halfway mark. No, it is 32 kilometers, which is halfway mark. Because from 32, the amount of effort which you have put in reaching to 32, it is the same amount of effort you will be putting into the last 10 kilometers. And this is the reason that in last 10 kilometers, people succumb, right? They crash. So much so in the Paris Olympics, you must have seen many of the final, even the Kipchoge. Right? So he dropped himself. There were cramps and he could really finish the race. Though he is a world champion, but it happens. Right? Same thing happened even in the last Olympics, previous Olympics also. Many of the elite runners, right, they were unable to complete. So you might question that in spite of such powerful training, it happens. Yes, it can happen to anyone, right? It can happen to anyone. This is the reason that when you do exercise, these things, whatever you will be learning today, right, they are like practical implementation. So time to time, I'll keep on giving you the example and I'll mark it that from tomorrow, if you are planning to start the exercise, follow this. Right? So here it is. When we talk about exercise, the strength. Right? Strength means force. It is the force. Bruce Lee, right? His strength was phenomenal. So that's the reason when in Fist of Fury, right? In Fist of Fury, when he knocks a punch from the distance of 6 inches, and the person was thrown at a long distance, right? So this is the force, right? This is the force. In Enter the Dragon, in the movie Enter the Dragon, when he shows that kick, right? When he knocks down Chuck Norris. So in that, you'll be able to see the force. When it comes to power, right? So power is, right, very simple. Work done in specific time. Strength is that, yes, what is, say, if it is to be lifted once, kettlebell, if it is to be lifted once, yes, you lift it, right? 35 kilogram of kettlebell, ek baar utha liya, bas khatam. But when it comes to power, So that means that kettlebell, it is the force into distance in specific time. That's why in those road competition, right, they say 2 heavy kettlebells, and those kettlebells we can't even dream of. Those kettlebells are 48 kilograms, right? Lifting both the kettlebells, and then they have to run, right? They have to cross a distance. In defense, in army, for the commando training, right, the amount of weight which is put on the shoulders, and then you have to run, and then you have to go uphill. Same way, Tata Mumbai Marathon. If you really see that the uphill, that padder road, right, that is considered as a killer. Those who are running half marathon, they have to cross this road once, but those who are running full marathon, this padder road bridge will come twice. It is a steep inclination. So that's why all these races, this is where they will be tested, right? This is where the power is needed. So this depends upon what? As per ATP supply. ATP is what? Adenosine triphosphate. That adenosine triphosphate is nothing but currency of our body. Our body, every tissue understands ATP. ATP is the currency of energy, right? Our body understands that. And the third is the endurance. Endurance is how long one can sustain, right? So this is where how long one can sustain. So this thing, it depends upon your storage of energy, and at what pace you can really synthesize it, right? So thus you will understand that when you talk about exercise, people say, "Ha, hum gym jate hain." Right? When you guys will go to gym, or when you will be running, this is the reason that there is a specific method about how to improve your strength, how to improve your power, and how to improve your endurance, right? We'll be talking in slightly more detail about zone 2 running. Zone 2 running is one of the very powerful thing. The only thing is that when we say that, you have to dedicate yourself, right? But the results will be fantastic. And because you are doctors, you'll be able to understand that VO2 max is what, right? So that's why you'll be able to understand, and you'll be able to perform much better than anyone can else. So we said that ATP is needed, right? From wherever it comes, ATP is needed, right? जैसे कि जिंदगी चलाने के लिए पैसा चाहिए, but in period sometimes I don't feel like doing anything, and that working out everyday habit doesn't implement. Now, my dear, if this is the case, right? Condition your brain. You require meditation. You require self-auto-suggestion, right? There is nothing like if and buts. When it is said that when you exercise, right, first day, right, people say, "Chalo yaar, naya shoes liye, nayi gym bag, this that, पूरे साल का पैसा भर दिया," and then they go to gym. पहले दिन धड़ exercise की, right? वो someone is telling, "अरे बेटा रुक जा," नहीं, पूरा वो पैसा आज ही वसूल करना है. Second day there is pain, नहीं, पर फिर भी पैसा भरा है, चलो first day गए, second day गए, थर्ड डे हालत इतनी खराब नहीं, अभी एक काम करते हैं, 2 दिन रेस्ट लेते हैं, खूब अच्छी एक्सरसाइज की, राइट, सैटरडे संडे रेस्ट लेते हैं, मंडे से जाएंगे, राइट, मंडे से, दैट मंडे नेवर कम्स, राइट, मंडे थोड़ी आंख लग गई, कोई बात, ट्यूसडे जाएंगे. माय फ्रेंड, डिसिप्लिन, I am afraid of only one person, right? I'm afraid of only one person, and that is one who is consistent. One who is consistent. I'm not afraid of someone who is powerful, but one who is consistent, right? In the book Bruce Lee, what he wrote is, I'm not afraid of someone who can kick in 1,000 different ways. I'm not afraid of that. But I'm very much afraid of that person, one who has practiced one type of kick 1,000 times, because then he'll be master of it. Whether it is your body or it is your mind, right? You need consistency. And at this age, right, deliberately I'm not taking that, but at this age, if you say नींद आ रही है, right, तो then गाली नहीं बोल सकते, right? But it is WTF. क्यों? Right? बस इतना ही है, because when you are not paying attention, मतलब why it happens like कि भारत की इतनी इतनी बड़ी population and then these marathons occur, right? Full marathon 700 registration, बस half marathon 10,000 and 10 kilometer in 35,000. क्यों? क्योंकि 10 किलोमीटर वाले को भी वही खाना मिलता है, मेडल मिलता है, राइट? एवरीवन एंजॉयज के हाँ 10 किलोमीटर. While for full marathon, every time it happens, they say कि वो सब half marathon वाले और 10K वाले खाना खाते हैं, and then you don't get anything. But doesn't matter. Take it like, you have got my email address. The day you say I want to run marathon, right? I'll help you out. I'll help you out. Today, I made a plan. Do we have to pay for participation? Yes, sir. You have to pay for participation, right? That is not a very, because say in India that cost is peanuts. कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. Because during that entire race, they have to give you the nutrition, they have to give you hydration, right? There is medical facility, right? And there is so much. And after completion, you get wonderful refreshment, you get good medal, you get T-shirt, right? They will provide all this. Oh, yes. And those, if you run Tata Mumbai, right? Now it is called as TCS Mumbai, right? Tata Mumbai, people are so much dildar. मतलब road पे खड़े रहते हैं. They give you chocolates. They are, and in case if you are running foreign marathon, right, in USA, so they give you even tequila shot. I don't drink, but yes, they do give. They do give, right? And the atmosphere is amazing. That is so energetic, right? Once you take part, if you are not taken part, you just see, you go. Right? In many of our cities, I've ran marathons in many of the cities. Many times people say, road block, मुझे railway station जाना था. But there is always a bypass. They say, 3 kilometer लंबा रास्ता. In India, there is very less respect. Right? But yes, the moment you go abroad, right, and then you say you are a marathon runner, immediately they salute because you are something different. So make it like if there is a list, right? I don't know if you make that list, but things to do before I die, right? Yes, that in that list, there is, today I added one thing, and that is to run of Kutch. It is, this run means Registan, run, right? The spelling is not this, but this is a race which is of 130 kilometers, and it is to be done in Registan. Right. So this year, though, I won't be able to participate, but next year, yes, because it requires tremendous practice, because you'll be carrying all your food and hydration on your shoulders. एक बार सवेरे निकले, शाम को आपको next station पे पहुंचना है. So and you have to carry everything by yourself. You are given a GPS. On that, it will keep on showing you the path. But if there is one रेत का बड़ा सा पहाड़, so whether you go by this path or आप घूम के ऐसे जाइए, it's your choice. This say on 24th, the medal which I'll be getting, that would be my 125th medal. Right? That would be my 125th medal, which is comprising of half marathons, full marathons, ultra marathons, and the trail marathons. Ultra marathons means those marathons where you have to cover the distance of 50 plus kilometers. And trail marathons, that is जब आपको नदी नाले कीचड़ में से पानी में से you have to climb all those, right? They are called as the trail run, where the path is not a good road, but it is trail, right? So good experience for everything, right? You actually know the limits of your body. Okay, so this is what is consistency, right? So If it happens like कि आज नींद आ रही है, जागो, जागो, right? The discipline that is very much needed. Otherwise, क्या फिर that चलता है, it will happen. And if you are consistent enough, that thing will reflect even in your studies. I can guarantee you will become a wonderful doctor because if you are consistent with one thing, your brain will be consistent with automatically with everything, whatever you do. Right? So over here, ATP is needed. Whatever the way we work, ATP is not needed. So this is what is called as the muscle metabolism. Right? Everything is getting metabolized by muscle. So this is the muscle metabolism system. We'll divide it into 3 parts. And the moment we'll divide, you will be knowing yes, what we are talking about. Right? The first thing, which is called as the phosphogen system. Phosphogen. Right? Phosphogen system. Now this is phosphogen system. We can once again divide it into 2 parts. ATP is needed. Right? ATP is needed. So this is, if this is system 1, then we'll be talking about system 2, and then we'll be talking about system 3. So this particular system is 5 times faster, 5x faster than system 3. Right? So system 3 is slowest, yes, it is slowest. Right? This is that fast. If you want to spend money, so one thing is that either you earn or we spend straight away from the wallet. So this is like a stored ATP. Stored ATP. ATP which are already into our wallet. Right? Now ATP is what? Adenosine. Right? Adenosine triphosphate. So this means here is the adenosine and there is phosphate 1, there is phosphate 2 and there is phosphate 3. Technically speaking, when you break this, it will release energy. Any bond which will break, right, it will release the energy. Very low energy. This is low energy will be released. But if you break these bonds, right, huge energy is released. Right? So this is the large energy released. Now this is true for everything, every ATP, right? How whatever the way you acquire it. But the point is that when this ATP is released, right, when this ATP, when energy is released, stored ATP, you'll be surprised, right? It can't last longer. It can last just for 3 seconds. Right? It can last for 3 seconds. So done. Muscle has used that stored energy. This we are talking about every individual muscle. So every muscle has stored energy. 3 seconds काम किया बस खत्म. Now that muscle will look out. Now कहाँ से energy? Right? Now I need more energy. So this is right for a fast action. So who will be using it? Our fast twitch fibers. There comes the second system. This is what is called as the phosphocreatine. This is also associated with phosphate bond. But again, this is what? This will last for about 7 to 8 seconds. The things which we are learning now, this is part of our Mbbs, right? Right now, we are not touching the USMLE part, right? This is something which you should know and which will be asked in the exam also. So that means this first system, within 10 seconds, so khadam, right? Within 10 seconds, it has used up everything. Now, when we dive slightly more into this, these bonds, right? We are talking about these bonds. So when this phosphate bonds are to be broken, so what is needed, right? So this is your ATP. When one is broken, so it will become adenosine diphosphate. When this would be broken, it will become adenosine monophosphate, right? 2, 1, right? From 3 to 2 to 1. So these bonds, they are getting broken. For that, you'll be requiring ATPase. ATPase. Anywhere, whenever the ase words comes, that means it is an enzyme, right? So this is the ATPase which is needed. So then, from where will you get this ATPase? Well, this ATPase is present on the myosin head. Myosin head, right? Myosin is like, this is the structure. So this is the myosin head, actimyosin, those filaments. Out of that, it is this myosin. On the head of the myosin, right, this ATPase, they are stored. But then, how will it come out? Well, calcium needed. Calcium needed. So then, from where this calcium has come? All the way, our all-time favorite, action potential, right? Action potential. This means your muscle is not working by itself, right? It is the nerve which is sending the message. So that neuromuscular, so this is the nerve, right? Then this is the muscle. It is the neuromuscular plate, right? It is that neuromuscular junction where it will be releasing that action potential. And that action potential will lead to stimulus for the muscle. Calcium is released, and that calcium will open up myosin head. That myosin head, that will release the ATPase. That ATPase will break those ATP. Energy is released, and the action will start. Right? How amazing! So this is what would really happen. So this is the fastest system. That system which will be lasting just for about 10 seconds. So that's why after 10 seconds, that muscle is tired. Right? That muscle is tired. So that's why muscles, they work in groups. Right? We'll be talking about it. Okay, on to the second system. Now, this system is a very special system. It is what is called as the glycolytic system. Right? It is called as the glycolytic system. So our big storage is glycogen, right? Glycogen which is stored. Now this system is 2.5 times faster than our system 3. Right? System 3, that is the slowest. So this glycogen which gets converted to pyruvate or the pyruvic acid, pyruvate. Now from pyruvate, this divides into two parts. It has got two options. One, when it goes to mitochondria, and mitochondria will say that I need what? Oxygen, right? So there is oxidative process. Right? It will generate lots of energy, right? Lots of energy. But the cliff is, this is slow. Muscle is contracting. Muscle will say, no, I need more energy. So then there comes the lactate or the lactic acid. After some heavy exercise, right, you feel, right? And then when you take a rest, so then that pain increases. Right? You keep on massaging, right? But that pain goes. And if you don't do anything, that pain will automatically go after a day. Right? We'll see that also. That what is the recovery? What should we really do? So this is the lactate. This is a fast process. Right? It will generate 480. This mitochondria, it will generate huge quantity, huge amount of ATP, but it is very slow. So this thing would last for just 90 to 100 seconds. Just 90 to 100 seconds. So again, you can consider that these systems, they are for what? They are for power. They are for power. So who will be using it? Obviously, fast twitch fibers. Right? It will be used by fast twitch fibers. So that's how they really use it. So on to the third one, which you must have guessed. Right? So that system, this is what is called as the aerobic system. Right? This one, which it is what is called as the aerobic system. Aerobic system is slow, requires oxygen, right? It is super slow. Slowly it goes, right? It is slowest. But if properly controlled, right, it can go endless. This is the reason why you require proper conditioning. This is the reason that when you are doing any of the exercise, why you need to know this thing properly. Right? So we can say this is slowest. That means it is like we can write it over as 1x, right? So that we can really compare it. So this is what generates your endurance. How your body performs, it is like a combination of everything, right? It is a combination of endurance as well as it is a combination of, say, power and your strength. Okay. So when it comes to, say, this oxidative phosphorylation, right? So it will generate those large amount of ATPs, right, as we said. The next process that is very interesting. The next process is that when that is recovery. Post exercise, what happens is that during exercise you have used everything. What have you used? 1, 2, 3. You used those stored ATPs, right? You stored ATPs. Gone, right? Khali ho gaya, right? Then you utilize that second process, right? That second process, which is phosphocreatine, creatinine, this process, right? Which was acting for 7 to 8 seconds. So even that creatine phosphate, that is also depleted, right? This is gone. So the first step in recovery is the reformation of stored ATP and the creatine phosphate. This is the reason that in many times in gym they say take creatine phosphate, right? Creatine monohydrate. That is the exact name. Creatine monohydrate. If your weight is more than 80 kilograms, right? If it is more than 80 kilograms, so then you can take, but again depends upon your body. But one can take 10 grams of creatinine, right? It is for quick recovery, sure, right? That is what it is, right? It is for quick recovery. But there is some side effect. You need to drink lots of water. Otherwise, it can affect the renal system, kidney system. So here, when you know that if you are taking creatine, if your weight is less, so then you have to take it 5 grams. There was previous concept that in which they say you start with 1 gram and then go for 3 grams and then go for 5 grams. Then that is what is called as the loading phase, and then you make a plateau. Nothing. The new study, it tells that straight away you can jump on that. But the only thing is take care of water. Your hydration is vital, right? Usually, if say I might have even asked this question, that how many of you drink whatever your weight is. This is the formula. 1 liter of water per 20 kilogram of your body weight. This is the thing. If someone asks how much water should I drink, if you are not exercising, right, this is a normal. This will, if you follow this, you will be surprised at your power. 1 liter per 20 kilogram. So if your weight is 60, then 3 liters. If your weight is 80, 4 liters. 4 liter of seedha, simple, plain pani. Fruit juice, chai, coffee, nothing. No, it is not considered, right? Because it will be having electrolytes, any form of electrolytes. So that is no. This is about plain water, right? Plain, simple water. Right? How many of you are drinking this much water? Okay, if you are doing, very nice. Is your weight in the range of 60s? Nice. 1, 2, 3 liter. Okay. if you are, okay, your weight is 50 and you drink 4 liters, that is fine. That is fine. You can. 6 liters, if you are drinking that much, say, my friend, what would really happen is 6 liters will wash out, will actually wash out. It is needed. It is what is called as the hydrotherapy. Sorry. It is called as the hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy, if there are small kidney stones, if their size is less than 4 mm, right, and if they are not the oxalate stone, because oxalate stones, they will be having spicules, spikes. So when they will be tumbling into your calyces, and from calyces, then they'll be passing into the ureter, so they might erode the internal lining, right? So they might erode the internal lining, and that will lead to passage of blood into the urine. So that so with the help of hydrotherapy, one can wash out those small stones. So if your weight is that much, 5 liters is fine. But anything more than I would say anything more than 4 liters, right? That is, and if your weight is not accordingly, right, then yes, you have to adjust your water intake. Right? It should not, because water will do what? Water will wash out even the necessary electrolytes also. Right? So everything, it should be in control. Okay. So this is the reformation of ATP stored and the creatine and phosphate. These are the two systems which should be replenished. This is one. Second, the lactic acid which was created, that has to be removed. So there is removal of lactic acid. Lactic acid is painful, right? It gives pain. And second is refilling, because those myoglobins, right? So refilling of myoglobin with oxygen. Now, what is that? Right? We'll just understand these three things into the form of what is called as the oxygen debt. Oxygen debt. Right? A very beautiful concept, because apne to kya, say for example, gym mein gaye, dhad exercise ki, right? And then we are back. We never give that care. That is what is the importance of rest. Actually, recently I had one small kidney. If it is 4 mm, so yes, drink more water. Correct. In that case, 6 liter is okay. Because if it is a 4 mm, then 6 liter is absolutely fine. Sure. So coming back to this, so this rest is what? Rest is important for this particular purpose. Now I'll draw one graph. Very simple graph, but this one graph will explain you all the collective concepts. Over here, it is in minutes. This is minutes. And over here, it is the rate of oxygen, which is uptaken, right? So we can say rate of oxygen uptake, which is taken by tissues. So let's say this is 1, 2 liters, 3, 4, because it is measured in liters, right? This is in liters. How much oxygen it is picked up, and this is the time. So let's say this is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25, 30, 35, and roughly this is 40. And person starts doing exercise. When you are not doing exercise, at this point of time, it is the 250 ml of oxygen which is getting utilized. So at rest, so if we just consider this is at rest, right? At rest, so this is the level which will be about 250 ml per minute. Right now, it is this much oxygen which is going in and it's getting tissues, they are picking up. All collectively, all tissues, they are picking up this. The moment you do exercise, right, the muscles, they will start demanding. And immediately you start doing exercise, right, there will be hyperventilation, that because you start breathing fast, right? It shoots to about 10 times, 15 times, 18 times, 20 times, right? So that oxygen uptake, it drastically increases. So let's say that uptake is about 4 liters, right? It reaches to about 4 liters, even more than that, right? So here it is, say on exercise, the demand, that is the oxygen uptake, it starts increasing. So it has increased, right? So it has increased. And then we say that person does the exercise for about 10 minutes, and right at 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, he stops it. You'll be surprised that oxygen, right, the tissues, they'll keep on picking up the oxygen. Right? That means even if you have finished the exercise, when you're coming out of the gym, if you'll check to your heart rate is high, right, you are actually breathing faster, because it is this position. This is what is going on. It goes like this, and then for almost 40-45 minutes, it is above the base level. It is above the resting level. So this is what, say, we'll divide it into two parts. This is one phase of recovery, and this one is second phase of recovery, right? So this is the phase 1. This collectively, the whole thing is called as the oxygen debt. Oxygen debt means कि एक बार during exercise यहाँ पे oxygen use कर लिया, अब चुकाना तो पड़ेगा वापस, right? It is like we have to give back the oxygen to tissues, right? To the areas from where we have खींच के oxygen ले लिया, right? So we have to tell those कि भाई ले लो अपना oxygen वापस. So then how to do that? This is the recovery, right? The first one, this one is called as the alactic oxygen debt. It is called as alactic. So immediately what would happen? Those stored ATPs, right? They will say कि अरे पहले हमारा काम खत्म करो. So stored ATPs, right? They will be, because you are breathing, so oxygen is there. So that means the process is going on, right? So it will keep on generating. Now you are not doing exercise, so now muscles, they are not using it, but still the breathing and everything is faster. So it will start now giving those stored ATPs, right? So those stored ATPs, they will be replenished. Second, when it is said that phosphate creatinine system, right, that would be replenished. This is the reason that during exercise, when someone tells, I take creatinine monophosphate, after I come back home and then I start taking it. Now, if the gym is at a distance of half an hour, right? He comes back home, aaram se banaya, then he is drinking. What's the use? There is no use. Creatinine monohydrate, it has to be within the first 10 minutes. So that's why if you are taking this, right, what you have to do is you have to prepare that small glass or small tumbler, put the creatine monophosphate, put some protein powder, mix it and leke jao. The moment you finish the exercise, take this creatine monohydrate, because that is the time when it is needed, right, for replenishing that type 1 system, right? Type 1. What I'm talking about is something which was getting exhausted within, say, first few seconds, 10 seconds, right? So that is the system. Now, how much oxygen would be needed? 9.5 liters. So much oxygen is needed to replenish this stored one, right? And then we have got myoglobin, hemoglobin for lungs, right? When we breathe, right? So then obviously our tidal volume would increase. Otherwise, so it is normally like this, right? It is the total is 500 ml. Total is 500 ml, right? So 200 ml bahar pheka, 200 ml breathe, 250 ml out, 250 ml in, out, in, out, in. That is a normal respiration which is at rest. So that was comfortable, 250 ml. But now when you start breathing in, so yes, it has become bigger, right? So in order to get once again that reserve volume, Otherwise, so we were utilizing even that oxygen also now, right? So all those things, everything should come back to normal. So even those myoglobin, right? Myoglobins, those globin, right? The way we have got hemoglobin in blood, the myoglobin. So they were also oxygen binding protein. They used up their entire oxygen. Hemoglobin, full strength, right? It used up everything. Lungs, whatever the oxygen which was there, right? It was all used up. So this comprises of about another 2 liters. 2 liters. So all these are given back. Okay, chalo, everyone recover. Right? So this phase, this is the first phase which is called as the alactic oxygen debt. But then comes the second one, right? It is this one. This one. This is called as lactic acid oxygen debt. This is the second phase. So in this phase, which lasts for about 40 plus minutes. So this is that long. Now, what's the logic behind it? Right? Why it is said that cool down is so important? Right? The cool down is nothing but when you take deep breath, you go for steady stretch, right? And they say, or say if you are on a treadmill, so then you have gone for good full power run. But then cool down is what? Walk slow. Decrease the speed to 4 or 5. Walk. So that muscles, they are not straining. So again, it varies. I can't say that speed of 5 is cool down for someone. Cool down speed would 6 will be the cool down speeds. For someone it will be 4. It depends upon body to body, person to person. Right? I'll give you the formula even for that. That within minutes you'll be able to decide upon yourself that what is my ideal resting level. So why it happens that in stage 2, say we talked about that it is the glycogen, right? Glycogen which is used up. Glycogen gets converted to pyruvic acid, right? Pyruvate and pyruvic acid, they both are same. So pyruvate or pyruvic acid. Or let me write pyruvate, so no confusion, right? Pyruvate. And that pyruvate would be converted to lactate or the lactic acid. Lactic acid, right? So here it is, but now it would be converted back to pyruvate. But from pyruvate to oxygen, pyruvate to glycogen, oxygen is needed. So this is the oxygen which is utilized so that everyone goes back to its normal state. Right? So this is something what we runs for 40 minutes. That's the reason that after completion of the exercise, right, why you need to focus on your breathing, because it is that oxygen which is taking care of your second stage of oxygen debt, right? What to eat, why your diet is so important. As we said, that if you eat fat na, तो आप मोटे नहीं होंगे. If you eat good fat, say for example avocado, if anyone eats avocado, he will not become fat because avocado consists of lots of fat. Fatty, but it is a good fat. It is a good fat. Right? So we have got 3 things for us. We have got carbs, which we say that it's like a fuel. We have got fat, which is like a lubrication, and then we have got the protein. Post exercise, what about ghee? Ghee is awesome. Ghee is superb. I mean, I won't say how much ghee I consume, but yes, I do consume a lot. Ghee is very good. I won't say that olive oil is good, right? In every way, it is good. But ghee, and that also a good quality of ghee. Yes, it keeps your joints to an amazing level. Right? So post exercise, right? High carbs. Now, carbs, because you have consumed so much of carbs, right? You have consumed so much of carbs. So that's why, because when you take this, the recovery, that would be about 24 to 48 hours. 28 to 48 hours. This I'm telling about when you have really done your very powerful exercise. Say for example, Garmin watches or the Apple watches. Once you finish in Garmin watches, right, they say I'm using Phoenix 5X. Yeah, you asked it, so I'm using Phoenix 5X. This is one of the very premier Garmin watch. Right, it shows you more than 38 parameters. I won't be telling you that you buy this. Don't buy it. Right, till you start taking part into marathons. This is that watch because it will give you that cadence at what speed your foot is falling, at what pace, right? Whether right side and left side it is balanced, and then there are about another 38 parameters. Those parameters, when you take it into consideration, right, you will actually improve upon yourself. So this, it also keeps after completion that what is the recovery time. Say for example, today it showed that the recovery time 34 hours. Now for 34 hours, is it so that I won't be doing any exercise? Actually, yes. I won't be doing any strenuous exercise, right? Strenuous exercise, which would be related to my lower body. But what about the upper body? Can I do weightlifting? I can, right? So it can be done. So that's why when you design your exercise, so it is like if today is the upper body, right? Then tomorrow is the lower body. But abs, you will be doing every day because abs, they are big muscles, right? They never tire that easily. So you can, and literally say for abs, even if you do 5 days a week, still it is fine. The only thing is that there are few exercises which people say it is very good for the abs, but actually they are not. But after consistent workout, muscle don't pain. Isn't lactic acid formed? Yeah, that's right. It is the lactic acid, right? Because it will be taking 24 to 48 hours to wipe off completely, right? From so till that accumulation, right? Because if it has accumulated after long run, so yes, it will keep on paining. But as you condition yourself, this is the reason that as you improve your, we'll be just talking about the VO2 max, right? Just in a minute, we'll be talking about it, VO2 max. Why your cardiorespiratory efficiency is important? Because when you'll be able to breathe large amount of oxygen, right? So the recovery process, that would be much faster, and then lactic acid won't be even generated, right? Because your aerobic process that is running so efficiently that it won't matter. Right? You won't be hurting yourself. Any of these, alkaline water has become popular. Is it good or bad? Normal water is alkaline water. I would say just one thing: pH value, right? So there are few systems where the alkaline water that is costing a bomb. Right? There is one, someone was advertising, there is that you should buy this, that was from 3 lakh rupees of that unit, right? And then there are bottles which are like 200 rupees, 300 rupees a liter. There is one very simple thing, right? When remains for intense workout, because the amount of lactic acid, it has literally spread into deepest of the muscles, right? So everyone is working. So the amount of oxygen, when you give oxygen, right, then the lactic acid will start getting released, right? So that's why it takes more time. Now we'll be talking about this. So this pH is, acidic pH is bad, right? Alkaline is always good, but even matka hai na, matka, apna simple pani ka matka, if you put water into that, right, it automatically becomes alkaline. It's simple as that. Otherwise they keep on selling all the, आजकल तो मतलब anything, मतलब fitness के नाम पे they keep on selling you anything, कुछ भी बेचते हैं, right? So over here, fat and protein, good fats, right? So this is a big topic, but there are some good fats, there are some bad fats. So saturated and unsaturated, you are right, saturated and unsaturated. So we need to work on that. And matka makes naturally cool also. Yes, I use matka. So, and yes, you are right, it cools also. Right? Fridge ka pani, it is bad. Right? Fridge ka pani nahi pina chahiye. We'll be deviating from the topic, but just मैंने एक statement ही दिया. Later we'll talk in depth about it, why it is so harmful. And protein is because whenever you do exercise, it breaks your muscle. It is what is called as the micro injury, right? Micro injury. So to repair this, the protein is needed, right? It is for the repair. That's what protein is needed. So protein you can take at your ease. Nothing is getting repaired within 5-10 minutes. Right? So you take the protein aram se, and that would be pretty good. So these were the things which were like when we say which will be asked in the MBBS. Now when it will come to say USMLE, right, the whole thing will change. What they would be asking is, this is the heart, right? That's the heart. There are two concepts. One what is called as the preload, and second what is called as the afterload. There would be some very tricky questions, right? So what is preload? When the heart is about to contract, listen carefully, and in case if you don't understand, say immediately, I'll explain again. Preload is not before. Preload is that point when the heart is about to contract and how much heart is filled, right? How much heart is filled, and then heart contracts. So that is what is called as the preload. And that is what is called as the preload. Preload means what? It is left ventricle and diastolic phase or the volume. Left ventricular and diastolic volume. This is increased. So it means what? This is the heart, right? Heart is filling. Heart fills when there is diastole, right? Because in systole it contracts. So heart is filling. Heart is filling, right? So when you do exercise, right, heart would be filled and then it would contract. Right? Then it would contract and it would push the blood. So that's how things really they go. Now, right? So that is what is called as the left ventricle and diastolic volume. This increases. Why should it really increase? It is because of sympathetic stimulation. Right? Sympathetic stimulation. This is stimulation. Exercise is what? Exercise is sympathetic stimulation. That's the reason when you are doing exercise, the blood from the GIT, right, that would be pulled off, right? So over here, you'll find that there would be vasoconstriction of splanchnic vessels. Splanchnic means all related to GIT, right? So vasoconstriction of splanchnic vessels, vasoconstriction. So when there is vasoconstriction, so the blood is, so now they are narrow. So that means the blood would be pushed towards the heart because the entire path has become narrow, right? So there is vasoconstriction. This means there would be better venous return, right? There would be better venous return. That means pura blood bhag ke it will come to heart. So vasoconstriction of splanchnic vessels. So this is like, I'll write it simply GIT. So it makes it easy. Right? Now see, when it happens, you must have noticed that after a long run, when the refreshment is given, race is complete, and then if you eat anything, you might have to rush for the washroom. Because till this point of time, there was vasoconstriction, right? There was vasoconstriction, stomach, spleen, right? Those small intestine, all the vessels, they were constricted, right? They were supplying only the minimal blood by which the tissue can survive. But now what happens? As soon as this is over, as soon as the race is over, right? You start eating, so immediately blood will start gushing. Peristalsis, that will start moving more, right? So person has to rush for the washroom. This is the reason. Right? So it might means post-marathon people, many times they get diarrhea. So if there is vasoconstriction where the blood is going, there is vasodilation. And you must have guessed, vasodilation, where all those skeletal muscles, right? Those skeletal muscles which were working profusely, heavily, they are getting using that blood. So when the skeletal muscles, they are having more blood, vasodilation, right? Vasodilation. So it means that when the heart has to contract, right? Heart has to contract. So heart will find career vessels, so they are all open. Easily the blood would be pushed. Getting it? So post exercise, so that is when the doors are open and the blood is gushing easily, and that is what is called as the afterload. When the afterload, so because the vessels are open, so there is decreased afterload, right? There is less stress because heart can easily pump and when blood is pushing further and further, right? So this afterload, that is where it easily goes. So it means in the exercise, during exercise, if I write in nutshell, there is increase in preload and there is decrease in afterload. This is vital because what we really want, this is because of there is increased contractility of the heart, right? The heart is contracting, heart is filling properly and then pushing. Filling properly and then it is pushing. So that is what that's what it is. Right? Is this part clear? Is this part clear? That decreased preload because there is better filling, right? And then there is decreased afterload because vessels, big vessels, which are because skeletal muscle, that is a big area, right? So that is all those vessels, they are dilated. So that's why when you are exercising, you will find that those skeletal vessels, they are so dilated, right? So that rasta is open, so blood easily rushes. Well, there is this afterload. How much varies? That it may varies depending upon whether the exercise is dynamic, right, or the exercise is static. Static means if someone is lifting the weights, right? So now the weight is, you are holding it, right? Or if you are hanging, so that is constant. If you are running, right, that muscle is contract, relax. So that second group of muscle is contract, right? Right, left. So that is dynamic. Then which muscle group is involved, right? Which muscle group is recruited? So if you are just going for the crunches, right? So many times you will find that people do it like this, right? Never do that, right? When you are doing this, then at times people, they do it like a head move, right? Unnecessary stress on the neck. Instead, do it like this, right? And then do the crunch. You'll find a big difference. And then keep it like as if there is apple over here, right? You put one apple, right? So that you don't flex, right? Keep some gap. So best is look towards the sky, right? And then you do the crunch, you see the difference and do it at a slow pace. Do it at a slow pace. Even if you do 10 crunches a day, enough. But it should be like when you go up, right? It should be explosive, right? Up and then go back slowly. Why? Because if the gravity is helping, so then it is the kinetic energy, right? So if you take a dumbbell and if you just keep on doing like this, no use. When you are flexing, fast, right? And then when you are going back, go slow. And do this thing and see number of counts would decrease, but it would be more effective exercise, right? So which muscle groups they are recruited, what action are you taking? So it all depends. One very important question which is asked in USMLE, during exercise, right? During exercise, there is increase in the coronary perfusion. 100% wrong. Coronary perfusion. There is decreased coronary perfusion. This, remember, even when you are doing exercise and even from the USMLE concept. Because see, coronary perfusion means what? The amount of oxygen which is taken by the cardiac muscle, right? When the muscle is contracting, so what will happen? It won't allow the blood, whatever these coronary vessels, so they are embedded into the cardiac muscle. When the muscle contracts, the vessel would be emptied. It is only towards the diastolic phase, right? It is only towards the diastolic phase when the blood percolates into those vessels and heart gets the oxygen, heart gets the nutrition. But because during exercise, the heart is beating at a high pace, right? There is increase cardiac rate, right? Cardiac rate, heart rate, right? There is increase in the heart rate. If there is increase in the heart rate, so that means the diastolic phase would be shortened, right? There would be short diastolic phase, right? Diastolic phase. So when the diastolic phase is short, that means there would be decreased coronary perfusion, right? Very important. There is decreased coronary perfusion. That's the reason. That's the reason. Never go overboard. That means from my example, मैंने पहले भी एक बार बोला था, right? It was Tata Mumbai Marathon. There was one very beautiful girl, right? She was running. So then obviously we were tempted, right? कि चलो, let's run behind her. Now she was an elite runner, right? At an international level. 400-500 मीटर तक तो भागे. After that तो पता चला कि बस गए अब, खलास, खत्म, right? It was difficult, right? And then started the heart rate when checked, it was 196. Dangerous, right? Slowed down. Right? So never be carried away. मेरा अपना अनुभव है, and this is genuinely it happened. Right? Why to feel bad saying that? हुआ था. रेस में तो ये सब होता है. So this is the short diastolic phase. There is decreased coronary perfusion, right? So this is one of the very important questions. So don't make a mistake, because normally it is like in exercise jada, so heart is also getting power. Heart is getting less, right? Heart is getting less. That's why conditioning of the heart is so much important. Now, while over here, this is but obvious. Is there any? There is increased temperature. Obviously, there is increased temperature, right? I need not say about it. So this is fine. This small thing, which all of you must remember, if you are starting, if you are planning to करनी है exercise, so there are zones. Formula is easy. 220 minus your age. So I'm considering all of you are around 20, right? Plus minus 1. So this figure comes to 200. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, and Zone 5. If you want to improve your cardiorespiratory performance, at the same time muscle without injuring yourself, because injury-free running or injury-free exercise, that is vital. So over here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what? When it is 200, Zone 1, these are all zones. So Zone 1 is 50 to 60% of your maximum heart rate. This is your MHR, maximum heart rate, maximum heart rate, right? This is your maximum heart rate. So that means this should be roughly about 100 to 120. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. This is your normal. This is your normal, right? Now this is in general. This normal variation, this zone, it will change as you will practice, right? Because it depends upon so many conditions. Achha, Zone 2 is 60 to 70% of the case. This is the zone in which I am very much interested. Right? What you will be doing is, if you are having Apple Watch, so in Apple Watch, so there is setting, right? You just do that setting, even in Garmin, right? You fix to Zone 2 and then you start doing exercise. The moment you start going in Zone 3, that means if your heart rate starts increasing, right, it will be it will alert, so you slow down. 60 to 70%. This is what is called as the Zone 2 conditioning. All you need to do is, for you guys, it would be like your heart rate should be between 120 to 140 per minute. Strictly follow this. Strictly follow this. But this is the taklif is you have to spend 8 hours per week. Now, when we say 8 hours per week, even if it is a brisk walk, you walk fast, right, you'll find that immediately heart rate will start rising. As you will condition yourself, you'll find that even if you're running, your heart rate is very steady, right? It is not rising. Because in a minute, right, we'll discuss that what is the difference between cardiac output and the efficiency, right? So over here, this is zone 3 is, now we'll take it quickly, 70 to 80, this is 80 to 90%. And when you are going all out, right, full strength, right, 100%, this is only for very short duration, right, very short duration. It is like a photo finish, right? Pata hai ke bas now last 50 meters baki hai, right? So photograph achhe aane chahiye, so that's why on that red carpet you go all out, right, full strength, right? तो लगना चाहिए कि पूरी रेस में अपने थके नहीं है, बाकी हालत खराब. So that is for that purpose, right? It is the zone 5. Otherwise, zone 5 is not very ideal. Okay. Next important question, which is asked about what is called as the Fick principle. Fick principle. You have got the biggest advantage. If we talk about finance, so this is the time when you should invest your money, because by the time when you will be reaching to your 50s, you will automatically be crorepati, even if you don't do anything. You will be able to retire by the age of, you will be reaching to 35 to 37 years, you will be able to retire, right? No one taught us this thing, so that's why it is like person keeps on struggling. But same way, this Fick principle, if you understand it, and then I'll give you one workout, what is called as the sugarcane workout. Sugarcane workout is to be done only once in 2 weeks. Once in 2 weeks, and it will improve your heart and it will improve your lungs, cardiopulmonary efficiency or the cardiorespiratory efficiency. It will take it to the next level, right? Its effect, it is not so that then you don't do any of the other exercise. But this sugarcane workout, that is what improves your VO2 max, right? So in order to understand this VO2 max, this is a Fick principle. What it is telling is that our cardiac output, that is the amount of blood which is thrown out by the heart, right? That is important upon, right? Now for that, I'll just draw one query. So just consider, and this is the muscle, right? Very crude diagram, but sufficient. This is muscle, this is artery, and this one is vein. Right? So from artery, so this is PaO2. PaO2 means the amount of pressure of oxygen into the artery. So that oxygen will be taken up by muscle, right? And what muscle will do? Muscle will use that and will give the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide will be picked up by the vein, right? So this is PbCO2. That is the amount of pressure of carbon dioxide into the veins. Okay? And this is the muscle which is utilizing it. Your efficiency, it depends upon the blood is coming with large amount of oxygen. How much oxygen can your muscle really use? Right? This is very important, because if, let's say, these are the 100, just a random number, these are the 100 units of oxygen which is getting to muscle. Muscle will say, no, I can't use it, right? I can use only 40. So that means when we'll be talking about PvO2, that means amount of pressure of oxygen into the veins. So that would be 60, right? Because that 60 units सीधे pass होगा. No one was there to use it. This is important. So what it is, that PaO2, right, that is in artery, how much oxygen is there, minus PvO2, that is amount of oxygen whatever is present into the veins. That is actually the correct method, right? That is the correct value which is telling that how much you are using, right? That is what is called as the rate of oxygen consumption. So it is not only the breathing which is important, right? We breathe, but what if muscles are not using? Right? If muscles are not using that energy, that oxygen is getting wasted. This thing, this number, right? This is what is called as the fixed principle. Fick principle. Cardiac output means with every stroke, the blood is going into the arteries, muscle is using it, whatever is unused is going into the veins back, right? That difference multiplied by cardiac output, how much heart is pushing, that is what is called as the rate of oxygen consumption. And in the athlete language, it is called as the VO2 max. And people are crazy for VO2 max because our VO2 max should be fantastic, right? It is needed because it makes sense now. Because VO2 max will say, yes, how much oxygen, because this number drops, right? If this number drops, that means muscle is using more oxygen. So that means it is generating more ATP. That means it is working fine, right? It is doing great. So this is the VO2 max. And for VO2 max, it is what is called as the sugarcane workout. After doing this workout, you'll be so exhausted. You'll be so exhausted, but it is a very systematic workout. A word of caution: don't go overboard. अपने आप को injury मत करना, right? Don't do any injury to yourself. And this is the workout which you'll be doing with your brain, right? In a very relaxed way. Sugarcane workout is to be done once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. Now this thing is divided into 3 parts, right? Let me write here. It is called as the sugarcane workout. You can do anything you like say running, cycling, right? Swimming. You can. Personally, I do it for running because it is easy to measure. So here is the first minute. This is totally different as compared to what I was talking about zone 2 workout. In zone 2 workout, 8 hours per week, that means रोज का at least 1 hour. You'll be doing exercise, any of the exercise, but strictly your heart rate should be into the zone 2 only. Right? Whether you do jumping jack or you do brisk walk, कुछ भी करो, swimming करो, but नजर घड़ी पे, right? You should not be crossing this because this is one of the easiest way and the most effective way of fat burning. So if someone tells कि मैं कितना भी exercise करता हूँ या करती हूँ, मेरा weight ही कम नहीं, efficiency नहीं आती. This is the main reason, because गाली नहीं देनी, but those gym professionals, right? हर एक के लिए 7 की स्पीड पे दौड़ो. अरे 7 की स्पीड पे वो मर रही है. मतलब her heart rate is crossing 160, 170. She is entering into the zone 4. Fat burning होगी because now the body is demanding fast, right? So this fat is not going to burn. She is sweating, right? And then एक महीने के बाद वेट किया तो वेट बढ़ गया. This is what really happens, right? So zone 2, decide your own zone 2, right? And then work it. Do it only for 3 weeks and then see the way the weight melts. There is no big khana control mein, right? But this is one very simple thing. So those who said कि मेरा weight बहुत ज़्यादा है, or males, when you really want to improve your efficiency, stick to this zone 2 workout. But हाँ, time देना पड़ता है. You have to give at least 8 hours a week, right? So रोज का 1 hour. So 1 hour of brisk walking. Now, even if you are on phone, right? बैठे बैठे बात करनी है, इसकी जगह start walking, right? Walk fast, see that heart rate increases, and then so that is counted, right? That is counted. When it comes to this sugarcane workout, this is totally dedicated thing. What you have to do is, here everything is in the form of 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So first, for 2 minutes, right, start the watch, counter, and I'm giving you this for running. Give your heart and soul and run. थक गए, रुकना नहीं, 2 minutes, right? Go for the max distance, whatever you can, right? I mean, after this 2 minutes, I mean, you should be drained out. 2 minutes, give your heart and soul and go all out. Rest for 2 minutes. Note this distance, right? Note this distance. Now, just for our comfort, right? Just for a simple understanding, in 2 minutes, let's say we covered the distance of 300 meters, right? Roughly 300 meters. 2 minute rest, and these are like strictly 2 minute rest. There comes the second part. Once again, you will run, right? But this time, run same distance, this 300 meters at your own pace. That doesn't mean you start walking, right? Give your best. Because this is, you now know that this is my maximum distance. Now so many times it happens that in zone 2, you finish it even earlier, right? Over here, यहाँ पे 2 minutes था, 1 minute and 54 seconds में खत्म इतना distance. Then stop. Okay? But yes, do this, right? So this is where you are running 300 meters, right? You are running 300 meters at your own pace and same distance, right? Same distance. Note the time. Note the time. Rest for 2 minutes. And there comes the third one. Again, you will run. But this time, you will be running, let's say, over here, we note the time, and let's say we needed, usually to thoda zyada hi time jata hai. So let's say it is 2 hours 10 minutes. 2 minutes 10 seconds. 2 minutes 10 seconds. Now it comes to zone 3. Zone 3 means, level 3. Right? Run for 2 minutes 10 seconds, max distance what you can cover, maximum distance. Because over here you were covering 300 meters in this much time, but it is the combination. In one you got the distance, right? In 2 you got the time. And in 3, you're combining both of them. So you're giving your best distance, you're giving the best time, and then go for it. Right? Because when you'll do this, after that you'll be exhausted. Because it is like rest is only 2 minutes. After that, there has to be a cool down, right? Comfortable cool down. This will put tremendous load on your body. Once you do that, you will automatically realize that what load it gives, right? Such a heavy load. But yes, this would be very effective. The last thing, say when it comes to say cardiac output, right? in USMLE, they'll be drilling you about this cardiac output. So what is the normal cardiac output? The normal cardiac output, one who is not doing the exercise or very doing light exercise, it is 5 liters per minute. Right? That is the normal blood which pump. When you start doing exercise, and within about 3 weeks, you will be raising yourself to 15 liters per minute to about 20 liters per minute. That's the power of your heart. And then those athletes, right, they take their heart all the way to 30 liters to 40 liters per minute. Now, when this thing is happening, is it so that their heart would be beating faster? No, right? Their heart cannot beat faster because this max heart rate, right, what we talked about, max heart rate, 220 minus age, this is same for everyone on this earth, whether he is an athlete or it is some normal person. No, it is same for everyone. So heart rate, right? So it is the heart rate at what pace the heart is beating multiplied by stroke volume. Stroke volume is the amount of blood which is pumped out of the heart with every stroke. Every time heart beats, how much blood is getting pumped and how many times it is happening. That is heart rate. That is what is called as the cardiac output. Right. So in athletes, there is high cardiac output. They can't increase the heart rate. Heart rate is fixed. It is not so that their heart rate goes to 400. Right? No. So it is the stroke volume which is improved. Right? When the stroke volume improves, this means this stroke volume, how can it really improve? It can improve when the ventricle is powerful. Right? So when the ventricle is powerful, so that leads to what is called as the athletic hypertrophy. So not every hypertrophy of the muscle is bad. Right? This is totally different as compared to what is called as the dilated cardiomyopathy. Right? I'll just draw it. It is pretty easy to understand. Cardiac myopathy. See, these are ventricles. In case of athlete, right, it would be like this. The musculature, the healthy musculature of the ventricle, that would increase. When it comes to dilated cardiomyopathy, it is this. Because of the enlargement, right? Let's say aortic stenosis, right? When there is aortic stenosis, then because of that, there would be cardiomyopathy, right? The walls would be thinned out, right? Walls won't be, say, going to that level, but they will be thinned out. Over here, you'll be able to see the actual, say, musculature, right? So this is the difference. Due to this, the last point is resting heart rate. This is one of the best parameters to check your physical fitness. The resting heart rate, if it goes below 55, then say, tap yourself. Yes, this is good, right? So resting heart rate, because that is the minimal. From there, the heart rate can increase depending upon the requirement. Right? So that's why resting heart rate is one of the important component. Because if your resting heart rate is less, then you'll be able to take your heart to next level during exercise. And that is what is called as what is called as your chronological age. Right? It is what is called as the chronological age, in which year you were born. So that is your age, right? As per birth. Right, as per birth year. But to what level your body is performing, that is what is called as the biological age. Right? So when you increase your VO2 max, so that should be your target. Increase your VO2 max, sugar can work out, right? Increase your cardiorespiratory efficiency, zone 2 aerobics, right? Give time, have more water, right? And decrease resting heart rate. And in a nutshell, for all these things, very important, and that is the discipline. Right? Stick to this. How many sugarcane workouts will take that? Well, it depends upon the patient. There is nothing like that to what level it will go. It depends upon that currently you are at what level. And then accordingly it improves. So, but it improves. So the thing is, in exercise, the only competitor is you yourself. Never ever compare with anyone else. You are your own competitor. But improve upon yourself and you'll be the best. So there is nothing like target max workout, because say VO2 max of those elite athletes, so that is super high. It is extremely high because they practice day and night. That's their profession. We can't reach to that level. But it is like whatever the level currently you are at, if it improves, then it is like improvement of your entire body. That's why the discipline is so important. So that's it for today. Right. So for weight loss also, running is good. Definitely running is good. But go for zone 2. So if the weight is more, so it happens that even if there is brisk walking, your heart rate will start increasing. Because if there is more fat, right, so then that when the blood will try to pierce into those areas, so it will be load on the heart, so heart rate will increase. As you will start losing the fat, automatically your efficiency will keep on increasing. So previously that brisk walk was taking you to zone 1, zone 2. Now even if you start jogging at a small pace, you'll find that now you can go to. Then gradually you increase the speed and still you'll find that zone 2 here. Right? So that is how your body efficiency improves. Is that real that if we walk 10,000 steps daily, we burn fat? 10,000 steps, but if say many of the females, right, drawing room se kitchen se idhar udhar gayi, they finish 10,000 steps. But those 10,000 steps, they are of no use because most of them, they will be into the zone 1. Right? So it is not counted. Zone 2, you remain in zone 2 for at least 20 minutes. At least, this 20 minutes is minimum, at least. Right? So that makes sense. But yes, why 10,000? Something is better than nothing. कोई कुछ नहीं करता उससे जगह कैसे भी 10,000 steps कर रहे चल रहा है. So that way it is. But if you ask medically or from the fitness point of view, yes, this is how it should be. Drinking hot water helps to lose fat instead of drinking normal water. Well, hot water is like they say yes because it improves circulation, but itna garam bhi nahi, normal water, that is fine. You have to maintain heart rate. Water is just the medium. I mean, this zone 2. Right? You are of the age of 20, so it has to be about 60 to 70. So that means keep your heart rate between 120 to 140 per minute. In Apple Watch, though, there is a setting. In Garmin, there is a setting. If kuch nahi hai, so just measure your pulse, right, while walking, and you'll get a judgment. Now, this is the heart rate monitors are also available, but a simple size, not even that costly. All right, so I'll put this file just in a minute. Thank you so much, and wish you all a very healthy weekend. Take care. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye. Bye.